whole months of being slaughtered and butchered. So excuse me if this was going to be a bit touching to me as a human, not as a journalist only. So lots of journalists like us like to go to conflict zones, running after stories and see how career challenging it is. But to who went to Ukraine, if any of you covered Ukraine, you know that we receive SMSs asking us to evacuate because this is going to be targeted with a missile or something. This is not how it works in Gaza. In Ukraine, you have SMS, you have a shelter to go there, but in Gaza, everyone is targeted. No warning in advance. It's enough to be a Palestinian, a civilian, a doctor, a journalist wearing a vest. That means nothing to the Israeli people. You might be targeted. A missile bombardment become extremely high technology used in Israel. We have AI, we have target by voice prints, we have Gospel, the AI program that can target journalists anywhere. But they are still surviving this technology. My last visit to Gaza was a decade ago, under bombardment, of course. My grandpa last visit to Gaza was in the 70s. So my network there is not that very big, but allow me to introduce to some of them who are still surviving there or they are gone and I would like to commemorate them. My first personal shock in this conflict was Nidal al-Wahidi, friend of my cousin. He disappeared on the 7th of October. His family is still in contact with me. I don't know if he's alive or imprisoned. He just disappeared and we don't have an answer. Bilal Jadallah, the Palestinian journalist who sponsor in Baitu Sahafa, 800 journalists. He was calling for our branch, London Freelance Branch, to collaboration to help them. His car was bombarded while he was trying to flee from north to south as he was ordered. And he was bombarded in his car, although the coordination with the Israelis. He lost all his families and he gone. We know about the steadiness of Wael al-Dahdouh. We all saw him goodbying his family. Do they know in Israel that there is so many Wael al-Dahdouh journalists who lost their families? How many journalists lost their families in Gaza? We don't know. In the same Al Jazeera team of Wael al-Dahdouh, Mu'min Sharafi lost more than 20% of his family, including nieces and nephews who are under 5 years old. Anas al-Sharif, who became Al Jazeera correspondent while the war, he was a freelancer. He's one of the most courageous journalists I have ever met. He's staying steady in the north. Greeting to you, Anas. He had been threatened to be killed if he didn't move to south. He said, I'm going to stay covering. They killed his father because he insisted to stay in the north, and he is still staying in the north. All our greetings to you, Anas. Yasser Abu Dakka, Al Jazeera cameraman, who was wearing his vest in a mission covering the rubble, have been bombarded, and we lost him after 6 hours waiting to be evacuated, bleeding. He didn't die from a missile. He died because he left to bleed to death. Mustafa Abu Saraya, unfortunately I met him when I was in Gaza. He was still a teen. Mustafa Abu Saraya, who is the main pilot, drone pilot in Gaza, he's the main one. He was covering for every newspaper and platform all over the world. He was with Hamza Dahdouh going to covering, and they were targeted and killed. And this wasn't enough. They have been accused them that they are terrorists. And the proof, the evidence was $240 payslip. And this is the evidence that they are terrorists. Ahmed Naouk, the Palestinian journalist who is based in the UK, I called him immediately after he lost all his families in a massacre. To support him, I genuinely said, Ahmed, I wish your remaining family are safe and I wish that you are still contacting them. I still recall his response in my head every day. He responded, they all were killed. All of them, all the Naouk family was wiped. He's the only left person from Naouk. All of them were killed. I lost all of them. There is lots of families in Gaza have been wiped from the records. Totally, this regeneration, grandpas, fathers, mothers, and grandsons, all of them have been died. And all of this situation, there are still friends and colleagues are surviving. Sorry, it's not a shiny story to who survived. So, our friend, Dia Al-Kahlout, director of the New Arab Bureau, was taken. You saw the viral video of the naked men in a trunk. Dia Al-Kahlout, the journalist, was one of them. What happened when he told the Israeli people that he is a journalist? He had been tortured for 33 days asking and investigated about a report he had done in 2018. This is Gaza, but I wish it was any better in the West Bank. Mohammed Al-Atrash, who works for Al Jazeera, was arrested and subjected to torture. He was beaten and he is still under arrest and suffering from multiple fractures. Muaz Amarna, a journalist who had been covering a peaceful protest in 2019, he had got a shot in the head. Normal routine in Gaza, in Palestine. The bullet is still remaining in his skull and poses a threat on his life. Muaz told his lawyer this week that he sleeps in the floor, no mattress, no jackets, and the soldier is beating him every day. And they told him they knew that he might die if the bullet had been moved. But who cares? Sumaya Jawabra, who was 7 months pregnant when she was arrested. Sumaya, my dear colleague, gave birth while she was home arrest. Those are some stories around my community and my work, and I live them every day. Among over 120 journalists, I don't know how many of them I know in person. Although we don't know the exact statistics about how many we lost, but I can confidently say any journalist in Gaza or in Palestine, he lost a beloved one, regardless he's a journalist or not. Hamza is not Bilal, and Mustafa Suraya is not Nida. Every number counts and every number is a story. They are intimidating us as journalists to stay silent. But when journalists are insulted, humiliated, assassinated, and actually butchered, we can't stay silent. We will stay solidly against anyone questioning a call for a ceasefire. So please call for a ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.